Good morning and welcome back to the Now Morning Show, where we have been telling you about Carnival across the country. But we couldn't possibly have that conversation without talking about the John Cupid Carnival Village happening at Queen's Park, Savannah. This morning, Mr. Lennox Toussaint, no stranger to the Now Morning Show or to the Carnival space, joins us in the capacity of the public relations and marketing personnel for the John Cupid Carnival Village on the Now Morning Show. Good morning, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
It is absolutely necessary because few persons would be able to speak with more knowledge on the legendary John Gladstone Cupid. We know he was a researcher, a historian, and a man who was very committed to making sure that Trinbagonian culture and the arts particularly shone bright. So when we hear the name John Cupid, some of us may know a bit of the legacy, but I'm sure you can tell us more.
Well, for me, John Cupid is a smiling face. And Skipper, how are you going? You know, that warmth, you know. John, we don't think has gotten his flowers, and we at the Carnival Village we are about giving John his flowers, you know, because he deserves it. John is was one of the best known for anything about this culture. And John's smiling face is there to say, he says, sit down. And John gives you a description of the stages it went through to get to where it is. That was the man, John Cupid.
A living encyclopedia.
Yep, definitely. John was described by Alfred Aguitor, who was one of the chairman of the NCC at one point in time. And Alfred described John as the nation's most energetic and genuine of patriots. And he says, and he goes on to emphasize not P-A-Y-T-I-R-T, a real patriot.
Wow.
You know, Kenny De Silva, who was followed up as a chairman also, described John as a hard worker and worked without thanks. For John, the journey was equally important as the destination. The journey was equally important as the destination. That was John. You know, what I find interesting is that in February of 2017, Commissioner Darian Marcel, I was chair of the Regional Carnival Committee at that time, and Commissioner said, Lennox, we must go and look for John. I said, well, whenever you're ready. He said, well, let me go tomorrow now. Let me see if you're home tomorrow. And we went to look for John, and we spent close to an hour chatting with John and seeing John's smiling faces. And we decided that we would dedicate that Camboulet, which was a few weeks away, dedicate that Camboulet to John Gladstone. Interestingly enough, it was John's last Camboulet. You know, and one wondered that, you know, that link that was so important for us, you know. We are really thankful that God would have sent us someone like John Cupid.
Now, this is not, or that wasn't, the only time that he was given his flowers, so to speak.
No.
Because in 2020, we also had the Carnival Village named in his honor.
That's right.
The repeat or the continuation of that then has taken shape in the newest iteration. And I wonder, is there any sorts of differences significantly from that first instance beyond the Camboulet to now? What are we looking at for 2024?
It has grown. The village is like nothing else in Carnival. The village is the village. There's nothing else like it. And you could view it from different points. You view it from the point of view of family getting together. Take up the whole family, put them in the car, head for the Savannah.
Something for everyone
Get something to eat, get some ice cream, whatever, and enjoy fantastic Trinidad and Tobago talent. And when I say fantastic, I mean fantastic. Opening night on the 19th, Friday the 19th, we didn't have room to take 2 more bachak.
2 more bachak, he said?
No, we didn't have room. It was just rammed out. But the joy in it is seeing the family, you know, out there, free of charge. And they're getting some of the best talent in the world. you know.
Now, as you said, Best Talent in the New World, we should go through some of the things that were there because Carnival covers a lot, and somehow you managed to fit that into the village.
Yep.
So we had, as you mentioned on opening night, a little bit of everything, something for everyone. And as the calendar of events rolled out, we get a bit more of each of these acts, I suppose, yes?
That's right.
So today we are almost there.
Yes, we are.
Close to the end. Oh,
very,
wow.
very much on the edge.
But so far, give us a little bit of the previous events that would have happened from the 19th to now.
I would want to say, well, for sure, every night for the village this year was far more participation by the public than any time before. Yeah, the crowds were there all the time.
Well, you know, we Trinis, we like free things.
Well, I agree. I think also that the performances that they got were really fantastic. You know, really, really fantastic.
Of course, these performances included Rhythm and Steel Festival, which I imagine would be a combination of pan and rhythm section.
And what is interesting about Rhythm and Steel is Rhythm and Steel brought out two things, and I think it was the Almighty God trying to constantly show us where I have gifted you.
Wow.
Belmont was a place with a whole lot of steel bands, steel bands in the past, but Belmont almost didn't have a steel band right now. And there was a young steel band that came out of Belmont, young people, when I say all teenagers, and they put on one of the most fantastic performances out, you know, and we were really, really proud of that. On the opposite end of that, there was a steel orchestra that came out of Chumakak. I don't think you'll be too familiar with that word.
You'd be surprised.
And, I mean, Chumakak Lavante haven't had a steel band for God knows how long. Wonderful performance, you know. And we tell ourselves, that is, God has shown us the blessings, two different sides. They're on that side, they're on this side, you know. And it was a wonderful night. Beautiful. Well, like all the nights were. And I should mention at this point that I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Darian Marcel, Clarence Moore, John Gill, that team who really has been working very hard to make this year's village fantastic. I'd like to congratulate those guys. One of the things is that every night outdid the night last year, the similar night last year. And in some instances, the performances too.
Wow. Now, if you haven't been able to check out any of the performances that Mr. Toussaint is gushing about, if you will, they included Kaiso Royal Affair, The Stars of Tomorrow, even Kaiso in karaoke.
Oh, that was a fantastic night.
I could imagine.
That was a fantastic night. You had the lead people in these things like Pretty and Lions. You know, it was really well put together, and it was an enjoyable night.
And there will still be more enjoyable nights to be had. We still have, well, today, actually, let me not give everybody the dates. What you want to do is make sure that you go to the Carnival Village, and who knows where we'll be next week. Well, actually, we know. Well, live from the village itself.
There's not too much left, so they better hurry out and get what's left of it.
And now, I want to know what will happen on closing night. It is dubbed To You With Love.
Yeah. There's a long list. I didn't want to bring that list here this morning. There's a long list of artists who are going to be performing on that night to really make it a finale spectacle.
And this is happening on February 5th.
Yep.
What time should we get there?
We start at 7 every night. February 5th. Like I say, I don't want to go into the artists.
I'm trying to get you to slip a little bit. Now, the village itself, though, in terms of on a daily basis, is open from 3 p.m. Yes?
The village has been able to accommodate more people for various types of... We've had all the tourist ships that came in since we've been open. Right. They have visited. We have a number of schools, which is so important to us. A number of schools who have visited daily, and enjoyed some of their, you know how they are with their artists.
Of course.
If you think we love our artists, you see them in action. Those school children literally go wild.
Oh, gosh. I mean, who doesn't like a day off from school plus some soca?
Yep.
And so we're going to enjoy all of that and more. Plus we have Clash of the Bands, Chutney. I wanted to laugh till my belly bust, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And in terms of revisiting any of these options, is there going to be any sort of taping or website we can go to? So if we didn't go to the village itself, we can get a taste of some of this?
That is being worked on, but it is one of the things that you should go to.
Absolutely.
You know, your granny said they don't come back again.
Oh boy.
It's some of the things that you should really make an effort to step out there too. And the village is the only village like that in the world. That's a big boast, eh? Yeah.
And with every single accolade that it has gotten, because when you do something from the heart, when you do something for free, when you do something to represent an iconic name with so much passion and commitment to the culture, it is bound to be worthwhile. So we are glad that it did in fact come back home, as we say, to the Savannah itself.
Yeah.
But does that mean that we will see another iteration already being in the works for next carnival? Fingers crossed?
Why not?
I like that. I like that a lot. And next week, of course, we will be coming to you live from the John Cupid Carnival Village right at the Savannah. So those of you who may not be able to make it right away, you'll get to live vicariously through us and then come in the afternoon. That sounds like a good setup. But for now, if it's one thing that you hope persons are left with from this iteration of the John Cupid Carnival Village, what would it be, Mr. Toussaint?
It would be something that represents the life of a man who was not a rich man or a popular man, but a man who was meaningful to this country, John Gladstone Cupid. And I don't think, I can see John smiling now. Nothing would make John happier than this dedication. Not money in a bag or anything like this. He said, Captain, we're doing good. You know, and we're really happy that we have gotten the time and space to pay that tribute. And we hope that this would continue in many other fields.
We hope so too. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Mr. Toussaint.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, of course, to the NCC for continuing to shine the light on legacies like Mr. John Cupid's and yours as well. And to those of you watching at home, don't worry, we're going to take you with us when we head there. But for now, we take a break and come back with more on the Now Morning Show.
I want to go down to Trinidad. I want to go jamming.